Hello and welcome to WMKC TV with me, Chris McCarthy, and this is the penultimate race of the day, rather. And this is the Junior TKM race, who put on a fantastic show for us last month with 2 races, but we're back to our usual 1 race this month, and on pole position, and another man who has won all of his heats today, the number 44 Whilton, who has swapped chassis this round, and I'll get into more detail on that a little bit later. Joining him on the front row is the number 53 of Owain Rosser. And yeah, on the second row is Lewis Taylor in the 52 and Joe Reeve-Smith in the 90, who are 2 very, very quick drivers. So yeah, this promises to be a thriller. It's only a select group of drivers, but any of them really, about half the field here, are in contention to take this victory. Here we go for the Junior TKM. Whilton, the revs rise. You see the smoke, the cloud of smoke, and there's filled a very bunch. And Owain Rosser has gone around the outside there of Whilton. He braved it, and it looks like it might have pulled on for him. Whilton looks like he was trying to get back alongside as we went up the hill there. And yeah, our cameras were down for the first lap there going up the hill. But Owain Rosser did hold on to the lead. Whilton slotted into second, and I believe that is Lewis Taylor in third place. I'll double check as they come through. Yes, it is. And that's Joseph Reeve-Smith in fourth place. Lewis Taylor, another man who has swapped over chassis for this race. And there's Peter Newman in fifth. So we have a 5-kart breakaway here in the first lap of this Junior TKM race. And they are well clear from sixth place. So here we go to start lap 2. Will we see any changes to the top 5 this time? You see them all sliding it through turn 1 and 2. Very, very cold conditions today. So it may take them a while to get their tyres up to temperature. And Reeve-Smith has now gone through into third place past Lewis Taylor. Actually, no, in fact, no, there was no change there because I'm sure Joseph Reeve-Smith was in third already. But yeah, Joseph Reeve-Smith just gives Lewis Taylor the points on there. I'm sure Lewis will sit in behind Joseph Reeve-Smith, because if they start battling, before they know it, the top 2 will be well out of sight. So, as we've seen that a lot today, drivers working together can be very, very effective. So, will we see those 3 work together? The leaders are nose to tail as we come onto the straight. Whilton just looks over his shoulder there. Perhaps he'll be looking to get by Owain Rosser on this lap. Owain Rosser looks over his shoulder and gets his head down. Here we go. And Whilton has looked up the inside and goes through. So a change of lead. Reeve-Smith there in third will probably be instructing Lewis Taylor. Look, we can see the top 2 are battling. If we just carry on as we are, we will be on the back of them. No problem. So here we go. Whilton coming into Chapman's, and Owain Rosser looks straight back down the inside. What a great move. So that was a shock to us there, because I thought that he was just going to be happy, Owain, to sit behind Whilton, but in fact he wanted to take charge at the head of the field here. So Owain Rosser leads them onto the straight, and the top 5 are now all nose to tail like carriages of a train. They go through turn 1 and into turn 2. Will we see any changes going up the hill? I'm sure we will, because it just looks too close to cool. Here we go. Whilton looks up the inside, and here he goes. And he looked like some contact there. And then 2 drivers have gone off there. Lewis Taylor and Joseph Reeve-Smith, who puts his hands in the end to say what has happened there. The camera just didn't quite pick that up, but Whilton did look up the inside, and it just did not look like he had got fully alongside. And I think that due to that he delayed the drivers behind him, who all tripped over each other, and that left Lewis Taylor and Joseph Reeve-Smith having to get themselves a bump start from the pushers to get going again. And Joseph Reeve-Smith looked absolutely furious with that. So that's a second month in a row that he's come under some misfortune. So he is going to be really, really disappointed with that. Whilton, well, he went for a gap that just wasn't really there. You can see the yellow flags waving furiously, probably to signal Lewis Taylor and Joseph Reeve-Smith, who will be probably stranded on the outside of the track there. A driver looking for the inside, but yeah, sees the yellow flag and goes against it. And that's a real shame, because we had it looked like a really nice battle to form there. You can see Joseph Reeve-Smith pulling his cart back onto the track. But yeah, it looked like we had a really good battle there with 5 drivers involved for the lead, and that incident has now wiped 2 of those out completely and has left Peter Newman trying to catch up the top 2. So it is the top 2 have a comfortable margin, just like they did at the start of the race. There goes Peter Newman there through in third place. In fourth place, excuse me, in fourth place is the number 34 of Max Pritchard, and Lewis Whilton looks to the inside and takes the lead going up to turn 3. He left it late, but he pulled it off under braking there, so this time he does go. The gap was there and he could complete the move successfully, unlike last time when it wasn't. And there's Joe Rees-Smith. He's stranded at the side of the track, just can't get it going, and that is bitter disappointment for Joseph Rees-Smith. Just last 3 rounds just hasn't come together for him. Everything's been going against him recently, and he'll feel outdone by, but that is just the nature of the sport. You know, you do go through these periods where everything just seems to go wrong for you. You know, you're caught up in almost every incident, and every time you seem to be doing well, something just has to go wrong. And I know how it feels, Joe, if you are watching, and I promise you it will get better. You've just got to stick at it, my friend, because that is just racing. You know, everyone goes through it. You can even see it at the highest level of motorsport. Even in Formula 1 today, we all saw Lewis Hamilton go through his massive dip in form, and he's now regrouped and is now starting to take more pole positions, and it just happens to everyone in all forms of the sport. So yeah, Peter Newman there. Let's go back to the action, because Peter Newman is now starting to set the fastest laps of the race, and you see him getting his head down. He's absolutely flying, and Lewis Whilton looking a little bit worried now, looking over his shoulder, because Owain Ross is still hanging on to him and Peter Newman is catching the pair of them up. So will we see, will this race be able to still recover into a cracking battle at the front? Here come the leaders. There goes Lewis Whilton. Yeah, as I was going to say, mentioned at the start, Lewis Whilton swapped over chassis this month. He did run on the Tony kart, I believe, and this month he has now swapped over to the Talco chassis. Alan Turney giving him that chassis for the weekend just to see how he's getting on, and if he can convert this into a win, I'm sure we will see him racing that chassis every month next year. Alan Turney was very pleased with his progress in the heats and taking the pole position, and yeah, I'm sure Alan will be watching and hoping that his man here, Lewis Whilton, takes the victory. Owen Russell there in second. Newman clearly the fastest out of the trio there in third, but with these shortened races today, looks like he might just run out of time. He needs to get a move on with it, because he has 2 karts still to pass once he catches the lead 2 before he can take victory. So yeah, he really needs to start moving on. And Lewis Whilton, who has really just sprung into life this year as a driver, he was always good at club level, but this year even at national level and inter-club level, we saw him at Interclub last month take victory, and yeah, all of a sudden he's just hit a marvellous run of form. So I'm sure we might see him running in the Super 1 Series next year and going well. I also did see him run well at the TKM Festival at Kimbolton in the summer. So yeah, having a good season is Whilton, and this will be a good way to round it off with a victory here on this first race in the Talco chassis. So I'm sure he'll be looking to, that's more of an incentive for him to go and take the victory. Owen Rosser here looks like his tyres are perhaps starting to fade away from him, because all of a sudden now Whilton looks more comfortable in the lead, and we can see Rosser is now coming under pressure from the charging Newman. So there goes the 33 through your picture there. That is Zabwanska in towards the back of the field there. But yeah, Rosser does look like he's just starting to fall away slightly here, whereas Newman, the complete opposite, is just getting quicker and quicker as the race goes on. We are coming towards the business end now. We a couple laps left at the end of this at most. Here comes Whilton into Chapman's. There's Rosser there, and Newman is almost with him now. You can see he really hunched over there, and he was one of the 5 at the start who did get delayed by that crash between Taylor and Rees-Smith, but since then he's been charging forward. So, and here we go. In fact, it is the last lap. It's almost a grandstand finish for second place now, as Whilton does look comfortable with first there. He goes through his lead, very, very nice and tidy there indeed. Has a look over his shoulder, sees us now behind. But yeah, will it be a grandstand finish for second place? Newman, look at him on the brakes, closing right up to the back of Rosser there. Oh, let's hope Rosser doesn't lose his focus like the camera did there. Let's hope he doesn't do that, and he defends going down the hill there. And they're out of shot, unfortunately. Let's wait for them to come back in. There they do. And he defends into Chapman's. Newman looking to switch back. All over the curbs there. That's not what you want to do. Rosser just has to hold on through the boot now. Newman tries to sell him the dummy, but can't do so. And there was a little bit of contact going into the second part of the boot there. And Newman allows Rosser back through. But Rosser now defending into the last corner. But Whilton takes his victory on the first outing of that Talco chassis. Rosser shaking his head there in second. Perhaps received some contact from Newman, but you can't blame Newman. He was charging forward and deserved to have a good go at that for second place, but he drove well to finish third. And yeah, what a great race that was. And Pritchard it was who finished a comfortable fourth. Well, unfortunately the crash did slightly spoil things in the middle of the race, but it was still a great race, and Lewis Whilton fully deserved to take his victory. He took all 4 wins, all 3 heats and the final. Do join us next month here on WMKC TV.